is leaving Poutine Deluxe.
Really?
Yeah.
Alright, here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh.
That's a little too right at us, I think. Wow.
My hair.
How's that?
My hair's gonna look really good. Ooh, you're filtering it through the fan. I like that.
Do you?
Yeah. I don't know if it's actually, if I can tell or if I'm just imagining I can tell.
Oh yeah, you can see it in the video, filtering through the fan.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you can just turn the fan off. God, we gotta. Ooh. I think you maybe gotta give it one more.
This is just like the
sultry
like
Sultry
private
lighting.
investigator
Oh no,
opening
now
scene.
it's going faster.
Oh no. Welcome to Tumblehome, a fan podcast. I'm gonna go ahead and say 3 is the right amount on that.
Who knows? We
Who's
may
to
just
say?
have to turn it off. Alright, you're rolling it.
Video's
We're gonna get some
rolling.
tunes on here while we get ready. Phone speaker. Alright, the lighting is correct. Sound check. Yeah.
I haven't checked mine yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good. Trying out a new mic configuration today. What do you think of this? Got the blue light facing me. Going sideways.
How'd you do that? Oh.
I don't know. It's just the way it was put back together. Quite a few notes.
Yeah. You're noted up.
I'll go through these first. I got a couple wild card maps in here. Can I
saw that.
Can I see the Clearwater Jasper? It's a new addition. I'll keep that there. Keep the map safe till we get there. Yep.
Yeah. Ooh. Wow. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with these mics. They seem like they're kind of starting to. They sound way louder.
Really?
Or maybe this just got.
Maybe we're just getting
way
good at
louder.
using them.
Yeah. Ooh. There we go.
Just learning how to talk into a mic takes a couple seasons.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Check my volume.
No, it's just gone.
There we go. My levels
Yeah.
are good.
I think it was mostly the volume that was turned up to max into my ear.
Check. Yeah, I didn't have my volume up enough in my ear.
Ooh.
Need more snare. Need more snare.
Now.
Turn up my snare.
There we go. Alright.
Alright, I'm ready.
I'm not. I just need to get one thing.
And the fan is stopped. The fan has stopped.
Now we can start.
Oh, I think this is straight again. It looks good enough.
Ooh, I was shopping for some noise canceling headphones this morning.
I got some gear. I got some new gear requests coming up later. Actually, that'll probably be the bonus episode discussion. Tech wants. Yeah, capital spending budget committee. Tumblehome committee coverages are very interesting. We've never actually published one, but we're gonna record our the capital spending committee later for a bonus episode. Very exciting.
I just wanted to get that email pulled up.
Well, you have 2 laptops.
Yeah.
I knew you did, but I don't know if I've ever seen them both deployed like this. Double. I don't even have one laptop.
You gotta get your.
My work laptop is going to heck, and finally they're like, we gotta get you a new laptop. Like, this thing's not. You can't keep using this. I was like, it's fine.
Yeah.
They're like, no, we're getting you a new one.
Well,
I can't like turn it off at this point. My new one's supposed to be here this week, but I don't think I'm getting no MacBook. I was like, you can get me a new iPad. That should work. And they're like, haha, sure, Adam. What?
Okay.
That'd be nice.
You're bringing us in, I think, today.
Okay.
Unless you don't want to.
Oh, it's my turn.
Yeah,
It's this will be episode 071, correct?
071? Are you joking?
Wait, what episode are we on?
You haven't known what the fucking episodes have
I thought the
been
last
for like
one was 70.
2 weeks.
I'm way off, man.
Yeah, no, the last one was 67.
Really?
Yeah, this is 68. Ooh, part 2 is gonna be 69.
Nice.
We're gonna make a bunch of jokes about how that's a funny number.
No. So this is 068 and 069.
Yes.
Well, that's why I asked. I don't know why
I'm not. I didn't mean to yell, but it's just like,
Oh.
you don't have to yell at me, Eric.
Take it easy.
Take it easy.
So this third page is for the bonus episode. I don't even need those notes out in front of me.
Yeah, 067. It's
Okay.
the one we just published last week.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, I am
Phone
pressing
turn off.
Don't want to get blown up.
No.
All right. I think we got good levels. We got
Okay.
everything where it needs to be. I've got 30 gigabytes of free space on the old Mac. I'm going to introduce the show, the sponsor, which is coming from me.
I don't even know what the sponsor is.
I know.
I'm in the dark.
And then I'm going to do the email. We're going to reopen the investigation into the planes.
Yeah.
And then we can start pontificating on maps. And then I'd like to read just a couple of the excerpts for this whole scale discussion, which is a new wrinkle that I didn't think we were going to get into.
Do we need this in any way? I'm using this as my notes, but do we need the description on any of these?
That anymore.
Okay.
We used that already.
I thought we were done with it, but
I don't want to record this on the actual podcast. Yesterday we missed out on Roho Rider.
No.
He stopped by and dropped off beer.
What?
God, how amazing would that have been if we would have all been there?
When we were out on the boat?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Jeez.
I came into the front desk this morning and there was just a 4-pack of beer on the ground. I came back into the kitchen and I was like, I'm assuming these are for me at this point. I'm pretty sure any beers that get dropped off are for the podcast.
Absolutely. Strange beers.
Yeah. Alex was like, oh yeah, some guy just said it's from Roho. They'll know who it is.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
Damn, Roho, we missed you.
In 2 months, we'll get to talk about Roho Rider. Although we're going to start moving through the beer sponsorships here pretty good, so. On with the show. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Hit it.
No. How many times have I done that?
Gotta get
Every
both
episode?
channels. Yeah.
Basically? 16...
God, Eric, you gotta have both audio channels going.
Yeah.
Get it together.
Both of the red buttons are blinking.
Welcome to Tumblehome, a Boundary Waters podcast. My name is Adam, and joining me here in studio, okay, is my good pal, Eric. Hello, Eric.
Hello. How are ya?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Well, that's good.
I've been kind of lazing around all day. Haven't really gotten much done, but we're about to get some stuff done.
We're getting work done now.
Oh, yeah. Tumblehome is, of course, sponsored by our friends on Patreon. Thank you very much for your contribution making this happen. And this week, what do you got? I have no idea what the beer of the week is.
The beer sponsorship of the week. I know we have the whole refrigerator filled with beers from our beautiful friends and listeners, but Tori is getting sick of looking at this beer in our refrigerator. You'll remember it when I pull it out. And I figured,
yeah, it's time.
Since there's video, we have to pull this out and get it over with. So I should have said you should grab a couple of glasses, but I figured we just pass it back and forth because it's just the one can.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Wow.
So this is a real throwback.
This is from way back in the springtime we acquired this beauty.
If you're looking at the video, you can see this beautiful can art. This is from Oliphant Brewing. It's last year's talent, Imperial Stout.
Oh man, let me get a look at this thing.
Coffee, almond, and, wait for it, cacao nibs.
Cacao nibs. I didn't realize it was a stout, honestly. I just remember the picture so vividly.
Yeah. So when did we get this?
We got that when we were in cities for Midwest mountaineering way back in the day. Was that April?
Yeah, I think it was late April.
If Yeah, we were shopping.
Oh no!
After the show. Oh god.
All over the
soundboard.
screen.
Yes, it's a very disturbing image.
We bought it for the image.
We did. I mean, we tried a couple of their other beers too. We had the Top Gun themed Maverick. What was the Maverick? It was
That was a Goza.
Goza.
We were very promptly put in our place in how we were pronouncing that. We were just saying Goza. You have to pronounce the E in that Goza. Yep.
I don't know if I'm...
Cacao nibs.
I've detected the nibs.
My mouth is full of nibs.
So yeah, we saw this grotesque beer can. It's a jumbo tall boy, wide boy can too, which is this should be the standard. And then like the label is like just like handwritten, like it's part of batch 80 or something. Anyhow, they had a whole bunch of these. We picked out a couple, and then we saw this one, and I put a picture of it, or I sent a picture of it just to a few people, just in my excitement.
People thought it was like a picture.
Yeah,
of
and then
us.
people were like, "Is that you and Eric with some sort of horse face filter?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I go, "Yeah, it is. I'm the one wearing the green turtleneck, obviously." And Eric's the big brother, I guess.
I think we ended up talking.
We talked to the beer
with
store
the guy
guy
at the liquor store, and he was talking about how it's basically like a really horrible rendition of like a child, like a picture from when they were kids.
Yeah, like
brewers.
People that brew. Yeah.
Yeah, and then some
I love
artists
it.
took it and just distorted the heck out of it. Super wide nostrils.
Yeah, I think it's a real horse face.
Oh, it's great, and it's good.
It was really good. But yeah, we bought it for the can, but I knew just based on the other beers we've had by them that I would really enjoy this, even though, like I've said, I'm not much of a stout drinker, but when I do, I get the real serious stouts with the nibs.
Yeah, last episode had the Dragon's Milk Stout, which
yeah. Had a couple of them.
A couple of those absolute best value boys really got,
that was great.
Really got us valued that night.
So we're coming up tonight. This is going to be, we're pulling a doubler. We're going a two-parter this week and next week, all on maps is our main target and topic. So we have a lot to say on maps, and then I think a lot of our friends on the internet have also got things to say about the maps.
I think it's our most responded to question on RBWCA. I didn't even throw it up on Facebook. Probably because it's just a real easy one. You could just say, this is what I use, and then...
Yeah, you wouldn't expect the answers to be very long, but I guarantee we're going to talk over an hour on maps, just before we even get to the... That's why we were like, we just got to make this a two-parter. It's too big of a topic, and if you're joining us on YouTube... or if you're listening in audio form and you wanted to try listening to an episode on YouTube, this might be a good one because we're gonna be, for one, we're on Studio K, so we have the big map wall right here. This is the fine and the full record of our paddling over the last decade now. Yep. Since we've known each other, I think every trip we've done is up here in some form with color-coded markers based on the year. So.
Right.
We've got that going on. We're going to be pulling out. I got a whole stack of maps here. Eric's got a stack of maps, and just going through everything about maps.
I think we've got just about all of the maps that you could possibly use, specifically in the Boundary Waters, and then even more. Like I see a Superior hiking trail map. It's going to be good. But yeah, I think the other one that would be like along the same lines is like, well, how would I want to listen to two guys sitting in a studio talking? Yeah, I think most of the time, probably not for me either.
Yes.
But the map one seems like it makes sense to have video, and then like obviously the In the Bag episode was like a visual episode as well. So
I've yet to actually watch one of our full episodes on YouTube, but this I think with this one I'm going to hold out for the video. I'm going to not listen to the audio. I will still download it, of course.
Yes.
Got to get those stats.
Got to get those numbers up.
Got to get those numbers up. Every download counts. That's a reminder. And once again, shout out to all our friends on Patreon. We love you very much.
We love you. So
yeah, we got to talk about Bodie McBoatface and the boat party. We almost we missed a friend. You showed me around. You showed me the beer fridge up at Clearwater where I was. Yeah. Natalie and I came up and we had a lovely day of boating and picnicking.
Yeah, the beer fridge in the
got another swim
at outfitting is like the scene from Pulp Fiction when they open up the trunk That's what
It is.
opening
It's
up
just
the beer
glowing
fridge is
gold. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
It is.
I mean, you've been telling me like we're getting all these beer donations, which is amazing. And yeah, you to actually see it though like that. You've got quite the collection there.
It is amazing.
So it was a nice day to be up. I've been up now all summer. I hadn't swam in Clearwater, and then all of a sudden, twice in the last week, I've been had the pleasure of swimming in the beautiful waters of Clearwater Lake.
Yeah, we had the John boat out yesterday. The whole gang was up. You, Natalie, Tori, we were out on the water. Missed out on a beer drop. Somehow I miss it. It's the funniest thing. Like I miss out on a lot of the beer
well,
drops.
I like
just
that.
Show back up, and it's like, well, here's some beer.
When we got up there, and you're like, oh, the folks in cabin 6 just donated, made a donation to the show, and it was like we immediately popped one of those open just to try, but we'll get the proper shout out on the show that beer is sponsored of.
Yeah.
But then we were able to, when we were like cruising out of the marina in the John boat, they were out on their dock, so we kind of like buzzed their dock and gave a little hello and so just some well wishes. Thank you very much. So
yeah,
it's always neat to meet people who listen to the show. Our neighbor was just over talking about she was listening to a couple episodes and made a couple nice comments, and she gave us a recommendation for an idea for a show. And so yeah, I think we're gonna probably also get to a bonus episode on just like some brainstorming session for the second half of the season. We're kind of in the heart of the season right now, but kind of planning out our fall schedule and kind of show ideas and topics we want to get to. So that maybe end up being a bonus episode for the friends on Patreon.
Yeah, if they are interested in listening to the real how the sausage gets made conversation.
That's even better than the committee coverage.
Yeah.
That's just not even committee, that's just brainstorming.
Yeah.
Raw
brainstorming.
So
yeah, we got to get some in the bank. I'm gonna be gone for a month, so we're gonna really test out the limits on the scheduling of podcasts. I'm gonna be on vacation.
Yeah, you're allowed to take vacation.
Okay.
And
for that.
so yeah, we do record ahead sometimes. It's hard to always record live on Sunday.
Yeah, that's tough.
We should just do a live one in like season 4. We'll have live episode.
Yeah, I don't know how that would just
be fun.
Just record it Sunday morning and then just press publish. No editing.
Yeah. Also, for anybody watching the video, if you're on the pregame show with us, I was showing off a nice piece of Jasper I found when we were swimming in Clearwater.
Rocks out there.
Yeah, we came into a vein of beautiful Jasper, which is a type of agate.
Put that right in front. That's
I'll get it
wide.
up, way up by the camera here, folks. Look at that. I don't know. Hopefully the light's picking up the rippling effect. This is one of my favorites that we found. I found a couple like this, though. Really nice.
Yeah, tons of
red Jasper.
Jasper chunks with like quartz veins kind of moving through them. Almost borderline like agate material.
Well, Jasper is a type of agate. Yeah. I looked up Wikipedia on that one.
Wikipedia.
I went on the wiki.
Where's the geologist's wife when you need her?
We'll have to relay that question over her way, but I believe I'm right on that one.
Yeah.
So
one piece of
I got a couple small things before we really delve into the maps.
All right. Well, do you want to do your small things before we reopen the investigation into the plains?
Yeah, let me get to this. I have one small thing that I just wanted to mention. That is, we'll keep this very brief. And we had our fantasy football draft. Eric's no longer in the league. He doesn't really care for football. We do have a fantasy hockey draft coming up. I think we'll spend maybe more than 1 minute on that when we get to late September.
Yeah.
But we had the live draft, and I was very happy. I picked up Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb.
So anyway, that's my hot tip. Don't be afraid to take. I was in the back end of the first round, and I just took Nick Chubb. He is going to be really good. Watch some of his tape from last year. This is his second year in the league. The Browns are going to be good, and Nick Chubb is going to be a steal in the first round. Mark my words. That's my prediction.
First round steal.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm a little nervous, though. We're playing in Superflex this year, which I'm excited to try out the Superflex format. So I had to get a couple quarterbacks, and my top quarterback's Kyler Murray, the rookie. He's supposed to run a lot, which is good, but I'm a little nervous. The Cardinals aren't going to be any good. They weren't very good last year, so.
I love that you're looking at me and saying these names like I should know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I want to see your reaction.
You just
anybody who knows, though, knows Chubb is the pick of the litter there. So Go ahead and take him. You might be able to get him in the second round of your draft. I knew we had some sharp players, though, that had their eye on the talent that is Nick Chubb. So that's all I really wanted to say on that, and I'm glad we already got to talk about our picnic. Well, we talked about boating. We also had a very fine picnic with our boating session yesterday.
There were some ankle-biting flies out on
a little bit of flies, and a little
drove
more
us
clouds
off
than
the
we
lake a
thought we
little
were going to
bit,
have, but awesome picnic day. I had a great time up on the lake with you guys.
It was lovely.
It was.
Nice to get out on clear water, spend some time.
Yeah, I mean, summer is very fleeting up here in the Northwoods. We're really in the meat of our 6 weeks of summer.
Yeah.
And gotta soak up those rays, baby.
Yeah, no,
Get some sun.
Yeah, if summer was a steak, we're chewing the meat off of the T-bone right now.
I like that. Yes, we are.
We've already consumed the fillet. Where the dregs still are very delicious. That meat right up next to the bone.
The bone's the best part.
Some of the best meat, but you've got to pick it up and actually chew on it. And that's what this part
December
of summer
then, like you're boiling the bone.
Well, it's just
some broth at the end.
That's just an analogy for summer only.
I was thinking about how like the life of a human is like these seasons, starting with spring, and like where am I in life now? I feel like I'm still in the meat of the bone right now too, but maybe I am getting closer to fall.
You're still. Come on, man! You're still eating away at the fillet.
In my opinion, though, like if it was my choice, I'd just want fall to be like 75% of my life.
I guess it depends.
That if I could choose and allocate the amount, like spring, take that and leave it. Yeah. Summer was great. I kind of squandered part of my early summer in life, but now I'm making the most of it. I feel like I am still in summer.
I squandered my spring.
I'm really looking forward to my fall and winter. Like I've got a lot to go.
Well, see, I think it just depends on how, in the just grand scheme of how the seasons work. Yes, that analogy is very applicable, but it depends on how much importance you put on those seasons for yourself. So yeah, for me personally, and it sounds like you too, it probably doesn't really make that much sense to be like, I'm in the fall of my life.
Yeah, but I want it to be fall.
I know, but I love fall.
I feel like ever since I moved up here, it's been the fall of my life. But like, it's gonna be like Game of Thrones kind of deal, where like the seasons don't always, it could be the long winter. Yes. I'm hoping for the long fall.
A very long fall.
My house motto in words are fall is coming. Fall is here. That's fall is here. I want that. I need to make myself a sigil. By the end of the season. I'll put that into the notes here.
Yeah. So, I would say we're both in if our lives are a T-bone steak, we're still on the fillet side. Haven't even started considering chewing on the bone.
Anybody listening to this podcast obviously is still getting into the fillet. This is, as far as podcasts go, this is the finest protein. I don't want to leave out the vegetarians.
The finest. It's.
I love a good pad thai with some tofu as much as the next person. You don't always have to have. I think we've kind of talked about this a little bit. Maybe we should be careful with the meat analogy here.
Well, I mean, it doesn't. You can have a meat analogy and still.
People know what we're saying, right? If you don't want to, we don't.
A vegetarian understands what a T-bone is.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want to leave them out.
Okay, so
you can have the juiciest morsel of tofu as well, to wherever you want.
The juiciest morsel of tofu. All right. Well, we've rambled for 16 minutes. Haven't even gotten to the plane.
Let's reopen the investigation.
And then,
do we need a drop?
How we thought this wasn't going to be a two-parter.
FBI, CIA,
Flyboy investigators. You're not doing.
Eric's on the case.
You're not Detective doing the loon sounds anymore?
That was a 1 week. I can't keep doing that every week. What do I look like? An opera singer? I got those kinds of vocal cord abilities. That was a 1 week example. I still think we should get the old iPad 1 out and turn that into a soundboard eventually.
Sure. Yeah.
Future tech.
You've been drinking throat coat, sucking on Ricolas, and you, before the show, actually just pulled off the ice packs from the throat because of the work you put in on that last episode.
I actually had I boiled a rag. I wrapped that around my neck, and then I put the ice packs on top of the boiled rag.
Wow, that really shoves the heat right into the throat.
I think my voice sounds okay, but I definitely couldn't pull off the loon
No, don't
drops.
Strain yourself. We've got a lot of recording to do here.
So the investigation's open.
The investigation is reopened.
Let's pull the case file.
I don't know what you can compare this to, but We're reopening the investigation into the increased air traffic over the boundary waters that we have noted many times.
This has kind of been the underlying story of the whole year so far.
Yeah.
What's going on out there?
I mean, we sort of put a pin in it last week, more or less, but
I thought we did, yeah.
The day after we recorded, I got an email, and this is from Ryan. Hey, Erik and Adam, some evidence of the increased air traffic over the BWCA. In late July, some buddies and I were on Long Island Lake and were awoken in frustration and disbelief by two guys buzzing around the lake in their motorboat. After a few attempts to talk with them, they said they were doing some fish surveys for the DNR. Our suspicion was confirmed when this plane landed and picked them and all of their gear up, including the motorboats. Hope this helps your investigation. Also, you can see the plane number N192Z if you zoom in.
Hold on. Let me write that down.
I have a picture here that he's attached.
N192Z?
Yeah. It's
Z.
Do you want to see the picture?
Yeah. Let me see this picture.
Before I show you the picture, the craziest part, the day he sent this to me was 3 days after I got done doing a guided trip where I base camped with the folks from New York City, the Rubes. Again,
boy.
They made that joke for the last episode. They were great. We had an awesome time. But the picture is from the site we camped at for 2 days.
Yeah, you were right there. Crazy. You just missed them.
I know exactly what this view is.
I'm surprised you weren't there when this was going on. The way your luck's been going.
So here's the picture. A plane on Long Island.
That's the beaver.
It's the red and white beaver.
That's the de Havilland beaver.
Yep. I'll zoom in even more.
There
it is.
192Z. Yeah. They had motorboats like.
Apparently they hauled in motorboats on there on the floats. I think they probably
they can kind of put them on there diagonally. So, anyways, I mentioned last episode too. Then that somebody had sent me a message on Instagram, but we were offline for that episode, so I wasn't able to just pull it up.
Oh, that's right. We were in the studio.
So it was. I don't know. This person seems like has commented or sent us information before. I feel like.
What's the name of the account?
I don't know if I want to give away the account.
Okay,
I guess I want to give a shout out though, because it was good info. Yeah, Yates Joe on Instagram sent me a link, and it was to the Instagram account called Henny Cub, spelled just how you think that would be spelled. And it's like a bunch of pictures of them with their Cessna. Mm-hmm. It's a 185 Skywagon. It's red and white with floats, and then they also have pictures of the beaver as well. And so I sent that to our friend in the Forest Service, and she's like, oh, yeah, that's the team on Shagwell Lake.
Well, you should also forward on the information that Ryan, thank you, Ryan, has sent along, just to give her maybe just a little bit
more information. I will be, yeah. I've been kind of in communication and regular with our friend there, just trying to get to the bottom of this. And then 1 hour ago,
this is really
Base Camp North sent a message to our Instagram account of... This was Gunflint Lake on July 4th. You got the tail number for sure here. That's a beautiful picture. It was like docked at Gunflint Lodge over 4th of July, but that doesn't appear to be the same plane we were seeing. It's definitely not the Beaver. That looks more like the Cessna, but it could have been.
Yeah, that's definitely the Cessna.
So yeah, it was confirmed that this is Forest Service activity a couple times over now. So they're out there doing stuff.
Activity.
Just seems like they're doing a lot more. Like, what's the deal? Nobody's really been able to answer that question yet. What's the deal? Why are we seeing them every time we're out now?
What's the deal? Nobody else got hit?
What gives? This is a really tasty one.
Just before we move on, the folks from New York City, huge fans of Wes Anderson. We talked a lot about his movies.
That's a good sign of a good character.
A great aspect of that trip. So they were catching on all of the quotes. I even threw a goodbye Cody out at them, which was noticed. So
goodbye Cody.
We have to go back.
All right. Well, I think that's all the
News and notes.
And notes. I couldn't help myself, folks. I could not help myself. I think that one's gonna stick.
He just stressed his vocal cords.
I did that one very gently.
Yeah,
That was a very gentle
gentle.
news and notes. So, anyways, thanks for the shout outs and the help on Instagram and email, helping us get to the bottom. Has anybody else like seen anything weird or has a story to tell about planes, or helicopters, or UFOs?
No, that's a different topic.
That is later.
Different
That's going to be a different episode, but we're interested in all your stories, is what we have to say. So you can find us on Instagram, on email, on Facebook still. We're still on Facebook.
We are still there. I don't know, for whatever reason,
we're on Untapped. You can go check out this great beer we're currently sipping on Untapped. We're Tumble Taps.
I got to
find us
the Dragon's Milk on there yet.
Yeah.
Maybe I can do that in between.
Is that all our accounts? And you can call the hotline. We still have the answering machine that nobody seems to want to use, which, who wants to talk on the phone anymore? It's 2019. I get it. But if you do, that's cool. You can be on the show, your own voice.
Tumblehomecast@gmail.com. That's the main one.
Just get a hold of us on the email. Or you can stop by and say hi to Eric any day at Clearwater Lodge.
Well, it doesn't sound like it. We missed out on Rojo Rider yesterday.
We did. We missed out on our good friend. We were out swimming. Picking Jasper and eating fine cheese and crackers. It was a very good picnic. Man, we had some really good olives, smoked fish.
That's the way to eat. Just snacks.
That's how they eat in the blue zones.
Yep.
Always eating little snacks between noon and 8.
Yep. Episode 180, season 4. Grand Marais.
Yeah.
The new blue zone? ?
See.
Let's take a break before we dive
All
deep
right.
into maps.
All right, sounds good.
I gotta pee.
Yeah, I gotta get a fresh Mingold.
Stopping that.
The whole episode.
Again, I'll have to put a different shirt on for the video. Now that I've just given away the secret. We just get together every 2 months and record 8 podcasts in a row. No, we don't. Maybe 2 at the most.
2, I think, is the most we've ever done.
I think so. Yeah.
It'd be hard to do more than that. I can't keep this up for 4 hours straight.
No, it would be very hard. That's why we need to we should start looking at the calendar here for scheduling a couple of days where we can get.
Yeah.
We'll have to get 4 in the bank for the.
Well, when are you leaving?
October 22nd.
Yeah. How long does the season go? I mean, that could be.
I guess we could take a break.
Yeah, we could. We don't have to keep going. I mean, we do typically end the season when the paddling season ends.
We could just take
anyways.
a little break, but I think we should do once a week this winter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had many people say don't take a break. More in the winter. That's when we need it.
We could take a small break for not November.
Yeah, not don't take a break. I could.
I like the Trail Center schedule of April and November are just off season.
Yeah, we could do that.
And then you just especially you're right over there.
Yeah, that's
real easy to get together.
Yeah, I think
we should ski shore over.
We should do once a week in the winter and just plan on doing another fall break.
That's fine. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it'd be nice to have a few in the bank, anyways. But
yeah. But either way, I think that's. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't think about that. Just take them out the break. Make them want it.
Well, I think we're allowed to take a break.
We're allowed to take a break. We're paid now by our patrons, Adam.
Oh, that's true, though. I didn't think of that.
We should at least have one come out.
We'll have a couple in the bank, sure.
All right.
We don't take a whole month off or something. That'd be cruel.
Yeah, no. That'd be cruel.
Yeah. Oh, what would they do without us, Eric? Boy.
I'll bring us in.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, let me have a sippo. Let me get a sippo of that Olifant. Oh my God, we gotta save this can. Do not crush this.
I won't crush it. Press and record.
All right.
Arguably, the most important aspect of a Boundary Waters trip. Episode 68.
Yes.
Over a year in.
068. I don't believe we mentioned that.
We have not really talked in depth on this. I mean, outside of the canoe, we had the boat show.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't had a paddle show. I don't know if there's enough there, but maybe. After those 2 things, I would say, and then obviously outside of food and water, really the next thing down the line that I don't know if you could survive very long on out there without is a map or something to tell you where you are.
It's helpful. It's super helpful. Yeah.
It's helpful.
We did the episode on
helpful.
the Lost Boys, and didn't one of them lose the map right away?
Not right away.
Classic blunder.
Yeah, classic Rasmussen maneuver.
That's
there.
a real Rasmussen.
Yeah, no, I don't know. He just like came out of his wherever it was when he was after he
got
left his
jostled from his concussed pocket.
Mm-hmm.
So,
no, that was Dan Stevens.
Oh, I'm mixing the two stories
Dan
up
Stevens
now.
got concussed.
I'm sorry, Stevens.
Your comprehension skills are not what they used to be.
Well, I told you I'm in the fall of my years now. Yeah, clearly the the old computer isn't. It's like my old laptop at work. That's how this thing's going right now. Like, don't try and install any new programs on this thing.
No. New apps. No,
not compatible with new apps.
No.
Yeah, I can't run Snapchat on this.
TikTok would break your computer. So yeah, I got
2 pages of notes on.
I don't even know where to start. I mean,
I know where to start.
Start it.
Online mapping. We got all our paper maps. We will get to. I think these are kind of the grand finale. I would say is the paper mapping, which is what you're going to have with you in the Boundary Waters. So we'll get to that at the end. We'll probably spend the most time on this, but I think there's some aspects of mapping we should check into. One of them being online mapping. Anytime I'm going on a trip, I will have the paper maps out, but I'd love to go and look at it just on Google Maps. Obviously, everybody's got it on their phone or on their PC or whatever your laptop you've got here. You can pull up Google Maps and you can look at the satellite. It's really fun for me to look at that. I enjoy just like looking at the view from space. And I don't know. I'm always looking at Google Maps, not just Boundary Waters related, just like anything. Going to hike a trail or whatever. Go check out what's this weird open spot. You can combo that with like a lot of these other maps. Like, okay, I'm going to go to this area and then I want to go look at it also on Google Maps. It's real easy and fun to pull it up. Like I just realized the other day, speaking of planes flying around, I realized like our Studio K is like pretty directly lined up with the runway at Grand Marais International Airport. Mm-hmm. So I was like, why? I am seeing a lot of planes. And I finally like pulled out Google Maps and kind of zoomed out. Zoom, zoom. Yeah, well, there's the damn runway there. Like, literally, I saw a white jet on final approach the other day, and I was like, what is this thing doing flying over us? And it's like, oh, it's landing. It's on the ground. You can go look at what the tail number is on that plane that's on the tarmac right now. That's available for you as well online, but I don't know. That's just kind of like the... I really like to look at it for a variety of reasons, but it's great for Boundary Water stuff. You can kind of just get a feel for how everything's shaped. And, if there's any fire burn zones or anything, like those are great to pull those up and to see like where those boundaries are. So,
yeah, you can definitely see that on Google Maps with the satellite view. You can still see Cavity Lake, Ham Lake, Pagami Creek. Very recognizable from the distant view. Before, I think we're going to talk about is in the specifics of as many of the maps that we like to use, and what some of the ones that we use, the pros and cons of each, more or less. But I was just thinking, just in general, I don't know if I have a good answer for this, but like, and I think this is maybe a good time to do it. Versus the end is just like, do you think that this is a universal human trait? The interest and borderline obsession / love of maps.
It is.
I feel like I'm kind of like borderline obsessed with maps.
I love maps.
Just in general, even if it's not the Boundary Waters, like So I ordered some maps for Clearwater from a place that we get our maps from, and they accidentally shipped...
The map get in place.
They accidentally shipped a map of like the Lake Tahoe area. Yeah. And I still, just for like an hour, I was just like sitting and looking at like a map of Lake Tahoe. I'm like, I have no plans to go to Lake Tahoe.
Not yet.
And I'm just
you showed me that and I was like, well, where is it? Maybe we should go.
Yeah. I was like, oh man.
You got a map. It was a sign. Yeah. We should visit Lake Tahoe.
It's just
maybe next winter.
It's just a map thing. But I don't know, like, because...
Can you ice fish Lake Tahoe?
I don't think Lake Tahoe freezes over. I know they get a lot of good snow.
Get back to us. It's not really a fact check. We want to know more about Lake Tahoe, I think.
Yeah. Welcome to Pow Boys, a Lake Tahoe podcast.
That'll be part of our Happy Paddlers Club podcast.
Yeah. We'll go out there and paddle Lake Tahoe.
Yeah. Happy
It
Paddlers
sounds like it
Club.
might get a little windy. Yeah, anyway,
I love them, yeah, and I can look at a map all day. Like, if you give me enough maps, I can really lose a couple hours in a map.
Yeah, I mean, just from a young age.
How about when you're reading a book?
Road maps, atlases.
At the beginning of a book, when they give you like a map of the world,
I'm
if you're
always
reading,
flipping back over to
and then
that
you kind of always are looking back. Like we already mentioned the Song of Ice and Fire series earlier, and yeah, that's a classic one where
it's a fake map, but you still always look at it.
Yeah, like who got to make that map? How much fun is that? I've often I used to draw a lot, make up my own lakes with depths.
Yeah,
like interesting lakes of the mind.
Yeah,
that's a fake map.
There's definitely I think there's a whole subreddit of just like world building, where you just draw your own map of like, this is New Umbria or whatever.
Yeah, well, I used to play The Sims all the time. That's just building a whole town.
I have SimCity on this computer.
Yes. I love the old Sims City, not Sims. I have not gotten into that as much. Natalie
Sims is kind of weird.
Natalie likes to play The Sims. She's weird.
Oh no.
She's like, Adam, do you want to be an abstract artist or something? I was like, no, I'll do abstract art for sure. That sounds awesome. So my character, I'm an abstract artist.
Very good.
My paintings sell for millions.
I mean, besides the selling your art for millions, I think you're a borderline abstract artist already.
I feel like my style is more abstract than realism for sure.
For sure. Yeah, but
I don't understand people who try and paint photorealism. What's the point? Become a photographer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
go to those spots. Don't just
I mean, I don't understand the people, and they should borderline not be trusted. Folks that just aren't interested in maps.
Yeah, how can you not be wanting to look at a map?
That's what I mean.
Find where you're, maybe you have a map of where you're at, especially, but like have a map of a place you could go.
Yeah.
How much fun is that?
I guess the question, which I don't think that we can necessarily answer, is what is it? Why?
Why is that so much fun?
Yeah, why is it fun? Why is it interesting? Like,
I like to just
how many times have we looked at this map? How many times have I stared at
There's multiple layers.
F14, Fisher, F14, which is the map I send out on a daily basis.
One of them is the place names are always fun. And then if you can eventually get into like older maps with like different names for the same place, I think there's a lot that could be said about just like place names. I like to look at the shape of things and like picturing the glaciers moving through here and like, well, why'd they end up making the lake look like that? I love to I like to imagine about like beneath the surface on lakes. What's that really look like? That's almost like a whole other planet.
Some maps have that and some maps don't. And the ones that do typically still get it wrong.
And even if you have like a topo or like a relief map of a lake, that's just, one interpretation of what their soundings indicated. Like, but what does it really look like if you were to scuba down there or something?
Right.
I guess that's a lot of like why we like to paddle and cover new ground is like a big thing we try and do. Cover new routes, and it's always like, well, that's what it looks like on a map, but then it's also like a preview as to like what is it going to look like when we finally get there, though.
So I think
that's a big part.
If we talked long enough, I think the general end of the conversation as to why would be probably the same reason why people are talking about going to Mars. There's something in the human.
The
DNA that wants to explore and understand, and the map is a combination of an understanding that somebody else has put together,
right, of what we found,
and what you can then go out and explore for yourself.
I think that's well said.
So to look at some of the old maps, especially of lake country, where you see it's just like a bunch of little circles with a line in between it, to what we know now, which is this big map, which is a direct representation of what it looks like. I mean, we're looking at like the culmination of a centuries of work and advancement in human technology to be able to produce something like that on paper.
Absolutely, and I guess that's why I like going on Google Maps so much and spend so much time on it, just zooming around the world, like looking at different spots. Like,
Yeah.
it's an incredible like superpower to be able
It
to
is a
just
superpower.
go on and zoom in to anywhere you want to look at in a little bit more detail, or to go on and then zoom out.
Yeah.
That's also fun.
And then
So
you
I think that's
take-
like the ultimate, just for me, why I wanted to start there, because
Yeah.
it's usually I end up with paper maps of areas I'm really going to a lot. But that's always like at my fingertips, this new power we have, which is relatively a new thing and pretty neat to just,
If
you can just go on the internet and travel to a new place.
Yeah, there's an aspect of privacy that the Google Earth maps, all that, it borders on a little weird, a little Orwellian.
Yeah, I wonder, I've actually never looked at like, what street view of Studio K look like? I doubt they've been down here.
No, there's no way they've been down here.
They better not have been.
It's
Cool.
It's been a while since they've been up the Gunflint Trail, just based on the photo that's up there with some of the vehicles parked at Trail Center.
I remember seeing the Bing car
go by
one time.
Yeah, we almost
Trail
were
Center.
like on the Bing car's footage.
What?
Yeah.
The heck?
So I think, do you have anything else before we get into the maps that we like to use, even if we don't use them?
Yeah. No, I have a few other things to get to. Just on online mapping, I have several bullet points we have to cover.
Oh, boy.
If you don't want to go on Google Maps, but you want to look at least on this side of the Boundary Waters, or just generally, the Cook County, Minnesota page has some really good online mapping tools.
Really?
Yeah, you can go on there and you can go plug in your last name and go look at a airplane photography of your house.
Oh no, I don't
Yeah, it's taxpayer parcels.
What's the website?
It's just the Cook County, Minnesota website. And then you go to they have a mapping. It's right on the homepage. There's a big link that says go to online mapping. They have a really good
GIS map?
Yeah, they have a really good free online service. And I've not checked this because I would never really need to use it, but I'm guessing Lake County might have a similar feature for the western part of the Boundary Waters, but they have done whereas I don't know how Google Maps gets their pictures, but this is, they were doing, when we were buying the house here, they were flying over on a grid, and it was part of the 2018 data. They went around with flying a plane, taking aerial photography. So it's a little more zoomed in and more recent, that's the most recent aerial photography I could find of where we live. And you can toggle between 2011 was the last time they did it, and then 2018, so you can kind of travel through time that way. I think that's another part of mapping that I enjoy is especially when you're seeing that level of detail in mapping, you can just kind of see these little subtle changes. I wasn't really planning on talking about it, but a whole lot, but I remember you showing me the Minnesota Historical Society has
that is an incredible webpage.
Old aerial photography for a lot of places, including up here, and that's super interesting to see the old logging camp on Caribou near Clearwater was really cool to see. I don't know if cool is the right word, but it was definitely
it's cool.
It was cool. It was really cool to just see. That was an aspect of time travel with maps.
Yes. No, and then you can categorize.
So I just
choose the decade, and then it'll just filter
exactly what they have.
One of the, obviously it has little to nothing to do with the Boundary Waters, but you can go down and look at pictures of Minneapolis and St. Paul, aerial photography from the Twin Cities from the early 1900s.
Was it blimps?
I guess blimps, and but it's incredibly detailed. It's all just trains and smokestacks and depression, but it's there, and then you can go and watch it. Just the way that it grows is crazy. You can go to where I grew up was that was going up to the cabin back in the early 1900s.
Yeah,
now, just a suburb. So
yeah, that's
totally
wild.
A bit of a tangent, but yes, the University of Minnesota Historical Aerial Photography Survey. We'll throw that in the show notes for you. Just
that's
fun to explore that.
It's a neat page.
Yeah.
Another one that I don't use that much, but I have used it, especially if I'm going somewhere new, is Paddle Planner. Very good resource. Wealth of information. They just kind of have an interactive map. You can zoom in and out and all over the Boundary Waters. It's got the portages marked and the campsites marked, and you can see pictures of the campsites, and the ratings people have left there for them.
That adds to the value of the map too.
Yeah, it's like a map with notes. So it's like the Google map of the area, but with all these like great notes for anybody who would be paddling through there. So
yeah,
that's kind of an interesting one. Although I have noted previously, and I think we kind of are in agreement here, sometimes it's really neat to just not look ahead and not know what the campus area views are and just find it on your own.
Yeah.
So there are certain trips, each trip is different, and our listeners understand this, I think. Like, there are certain trips where you just, depending on the circumstances, you want to know what's going to be ahead, or like at least have a little bit more info to work with. And then there's certain trips where you're just like willing to be surprised and go with the flow.
Yeah.
Which are both are fun.
Both are fun, yes.
So that's another one I wanted to make sure we mentioned. And then lastly, on online mapping, if you want to try fishing a lot, the Minnesota Lake Finder page is really nicely put together. And that's just through the Minnesota DNR, and you can go on there and basically find like a hydrographic map of almost any lake. I mean, some of them are kind of older, like hand-drawn ones from the 70s, which are fine. They give you at least some idea of what's happening. But a lot of them are like super high detail.
Don't crush it.
Do not crush. Nicely, you know, and they're all like in downloadable PDFs, so you can like either screen grab it or download it to your phone or whatever. Have that for later use. So yeah, especially if I'm going out and trying to fish, I always like to preview my lakes we'll be trying to fish on. At least get a number, like look at the survey quick, and you know, we go over that when we like preview or do an episode on just like a lake. We usually go over the fishing numbers which are on there, but they also have the maps you can download, which are, that's nice.
Yeah.
Because on the maps we use for navigation, a lot of them have like generalized lake depth data, but some of the lakes just don't have it, and some of the maps don't include that. So.
And the maps that do is just typically like draw concentric circles.
Pretty much.
Deep in the middle.
Deep out there.
It's not going to show you any of like the reefs,
they're not showing
the
you.
sandbars.
And that's a good thing about
bars.
Google Maps. Like, say we're doing the Little Sag trip earlier, and I like went on and zoomed in on Little Sag to see if I could like see any reefs. If you look at certain lakes up here with very clear water, not going to mention one by name or anything.
Like Clearwater?
Maybe. You can see, you know, like the reef we were floating over down the lake yesterday. What did we agree the name of that reef was going to be? I can't remember off the top of my head.
Jeremy's Reef?
I don't remember. Anyways, you could see that on Google Maps for sure. Yeah. And it's not going to appear on this Minnesota Lake Finder PDF that you can go find. So. You can really zoom in and kind of find like a cool, like, hey, we're going to be in this neck of the woods. That would be a good spot to go try trolling. But, and that kind of brings me to GPS. We were out floating on clear water and we found this, we didn't find it. That reef's always been there.
We discovered it.
Yeah, it's a new reef. And so I said, Eric,
discovered.
I said we should, while we can, take the towboat out here and mark a couple of these reefs farther down the lake. We usually just kind of stick to the closer ones for ice fishing. But it would be fun to like take the skis and go way down to like a couple of these lesser visited reefs. I think that would be a real jackpot for like March fishing.
Yeah.
So
I mean, depending on the conditions, if the jackpot is worth it. We fish Sherman's Reef though, which is kind of the same sort of a thing.
It is,
and it
gets fished all the time.
Occasionally catch fish, but it's not a jackpot.
No, but it's getting fished all the time because it's easy to get to.
That's true.
So if we went, you know, skied down a ways and got to one that's not all the way at the end, but farther down, probably have some fish down there that aren't seeing, you know, little swim baits and spoons jangled in their faces all day, every other day.
That's true.
So I think, but this, I didn't really want to talk that so much about the ice fishing strategy, but more about the use of GPS. Yes. I just kind of had it in my notes, like GPS is a big thing. A lot of people are probably bringing them in the park.
Yep.
And it's something we've been starting to carry on our longer trips. But I've never actually used one other than like I have an app on my phone for when I'm ski joring training with the pup.
I used to use one.
That's not really GPS. Like you have a legit GPS.
Yeah, I have a Garmin InReach, but I don't actually use it for navigation. I use it for the communication aspect of it. There's texting and email functions.
I don't know, though. I guess
and there's also the SOS. I snapped my femur out on.
Yeah. So then they send in the de Havilland Beaver to come get you with the medvac situation there.
Exactly. Which we talked about this on the 4-day Heart of the Park trip. You
Yeah.
didn't realize I had been bringing that out.
I didn't even know you had it,
Yeah.
honestly, because we're not using it to like make our way. But then on that one weird portage from
Fee to V.
Fee to Boulder with the
the T.
the
Yes.
T turn, which we were able to find the T, but then you had to cross a creek and get back in.
Yeah.
We consulted, and the GPS actually had that one marked right.
That
Everything else
correct.
was weird and wrong, and so that saved us a little bit of time because we had it out. We were just trying to like figure out how long that portage was.
Yeah, I don't use it to navigate.
But in that case, it did
But
help.
I do use it to like measure stuff. We measured multiple portages.
The Grand Portage.
The distance down the Pigeon River.
Mm-hmm. The Tuscarora Portage last year, we did that with that. So
well, there was one other thing that I feel like we used it for recently. I think it was maybe that the Curly Portage from Canoe to Pine. Me and Tori last year ended up measuring that, and actually the Fisher map gets that pretty close to accurate.
Yeah.
So. But it's mostly for the rescue function,
which is nice.
Which is like, I think I was saying, like, now that I'm a homeowner, I have to be attached, and also realizing just how stuff can hit the fan, Dan Stevens style. I have the Stollquist big pocketed life jacket. I keep it right in that, and that life jacket, unless I'm in camp and like done for the day, is always on me.
Right.
So that's where the GPS/rescue unit is more what we use it for. I think using the maps that we use, which spoiler, they're Fisher maps. We use the WA Fisher maps.
Yes, we're on Team Fisher.
Team Fisher. I can navigate just fine with those, but I'm super acquainted and used to that scale.
Yeah.
And what the boundary waters like, what the land and the water looks like. I think that's the biggest thing with maps, is just getting used to that scale.
Yeah, maybe we should just talk about the scale. We were kind of researching this just before we recorded today.
Yeah,
what all these different maps and what the different scales are, and what the it's 1 to 70,000. Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, 1 colon a big number. Like, yeah, what does that mean?
I believe that was the Nat Geos that are 1 to, I don't know. Anyways, we'll get to each individual map, but the Nat Geo is 1 to 70,000 is the scale.
Right.
What does that mean? It means...
No. Let's read from the USGS.
Yeah, well, they said it way better than I will.
It's very well
say
put.
it. Yeah, okay.
It's incredibly well struck, and I think I'm going to learn something still. And I think everybody out there will as well.
Yeah.
Whoever put this together, it's just like one of the first pages that shows up. It's a PDF on map scales put together by the U.S. Department of the Interior, U.S. Geological Survey, Earth Science Information Center. Here you go. Are you ready?
Yeah, hit me.
To be most useful, a map must show locations and distances accurately on a sheet of paper of convenient size.
Yeah, that is important.
I love just the straight black and white.
Doesn't have to be on paper though, government.
They are cutting through our minutia. This is what you need. This is like the little spoon of sorbet at the end of what we're giving you. You need a palate cleanser. Here we go. This means that everything included in the map, ground area, distance, rivers, lakes, roads, and so on.
Oh, I like that.
Must be shown proportionately smaller than it really is. The proportion chosen for a particular map is its scale.
Well, I just want to go on a brief tangent. Has there ever been a map that's smaller than the area it's showing? Or, I mean, larger? Yeah,
that would be
reverse.
crazy.
Yeah, we're not breaking that rule. That would be an art exhibit.
That's like a Star Trek episode.
Yeah, like I'm going to make a painting of my shed, but it's actually bigger than the shed or something to that. I guess that's what photos are with like a zoom in.
Map art.
You can get a photo that's just your eyeball.
I love that. Like, we should have just started the show with those 3 sentences. That's like, that is, it's so contextualized into the most like succinct 3 sentences.
I wonder how long they spent crafting that.
I know. It's perfectly punctuated. There's a hyphen, commas, another hyphen, and so on.
And so on. I like that. And the hand gesture you accompanied with that.
So that, I mean, that's like, that is almost the definition of a map right there.
Yeah.
And then in terms of the scale, large is small. Simply defined, scale is the relationship between distance on the map and distance on the ground. A map scale might be given in a drawing, but it is usually given as a fraction or a ratio, 1/10,000 or 1:10,000. These representative fraction scales mean that 1 unit of measurement on the map, 1 inch or 1 centimeter, represents 10,000 of the same units on the ground. This might seem simple to people, maybe, but this was kind of a learning day for me on this whole scale thing. So if the scale were 1 to 63,360 for instance, then 1 inch on the map would represent 63,360 inches, or 1 mile on the ground. Because 63,360 divided by 12 inches equals 5,280 feet, or 1 mile. So to get a 1 to 1 mile to 1 inch map is a 1 to 63,360,000. That's the scale you're looking for if you want
right
1
on.
to 1.
And then Nat Geo is 1 to 70,000, which means that each inch is like 1.1 mile.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more zoomed out.
So the first number, map distance, is always 1. The second number, ground distance, is different for each scale. The larger the second number is, the smaller the scale of the map.
So like if the Nat Geo is 1 to 70,000, what's this big map? Like 1 to 250,000?
I think it's probably pretty close to.
Or it is just it's just an overall bigger map too. So does it say underneath the north directional there?
It doesn't give a scale.
No. Yeah, I don't see a scale on here, but I'm sure it has one.
So
they always do.
This paragraph started by they always do. That's why this one started by saying large is small. Just a little bit more here. The larger the number, the smaller the scale. Sounds confusing, but it is easy to understand. A map of an area 100 miles long by 100 miles wide, drawn at a scale of 1 to 63,360, would be more than 8 feet across. To make this map a more convenient size, either the scale used or the amount of area included must be reduced.
I always like a map that shows the bigger picture and then like a little square of where the map is located. Like in the corner here, the Nat Geo also does this pretty nicely on the back here. Upside down, but
map scale. Yeah,
I like it. I like having that little like zoom out, and then like what the map is focusing on too.
So the last paragraph of this very academic and well put together, straightforward map scales page. This is like probably just like a thesis project for some grad student back in the 70s. Many areas have been mapped at different scales. When choosing a map, that is, when choosing a scale, the most important consideration is its intended use. A town engineer, for instance, may need a very detailed map in order to precisely locate house lots, power and water lines, and streets and alleys in a community. A commonly used scale for this purpose is 1 to 600.
Wow, all right.
This
3 digits.
Yeah, this scale is so large that many features, such as buildings, roads, railroad tracks, and there's no other thing that makes the sector. I'm criticizing it now. There's 2 commas, but then like not an and, so that's hard to read. Anyway, that are usually represented on smaller scale maps by symbols can be drawn to scale. So you can actually draw like a fire hydrant.
Right.
Makes sense. So,
yeah, like that's a fire hydrant.
Yeah. And then there is at the bottom of this little page, we'll add this whole PDF to the show link, to the show notes as well with a link. Yeah, so we definitely nailed, which I learned, 1 to 63,360. That's a 1 to 1.
And so I don't know if we'll get to the fishers later, But
yeah,
the fissures are...
They don't say right on the
They don't
map.
say, but it's 1.5 miles equals an inch.
Which would be, I think, based on this chart here, about 1 to 100,000.
It's a 1 to 100.
1 to like 95,000.
Something like that.
Because
Yeah.
1 to 100,000 is
It's
1.6
definitely more
miles.
zoomed in than the Nat Geos, but not as zoomed in as the Mackenzie.
Yeah.
Is that correct? I believe it is.
Yes, that is correct. So I think we've got the science of the scales out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's important to get to that. And I had been making some notes all day thinking about maps before we recorded. And then you got here and were like, what's the scale all about? And so we had to research that first. And I'm really glad you brought that up. See, this is why two minds are better than one. We got to be able to come at these maps from every angle conceivable.
Oh no, it's just like the most real-time update to the floatplane situation. I literally just received an email.
Oh boy.
This is from Rojo. Emailed us. He was in the park this past weekend and saw the same floatplane that was described. It was headed in a west-northwest direction, probably parallel to the Gunflint Trail. I was on Allen Lake when I spotted, so it was likely above Swallow or Meads. This was on the 17th of August at about 1 p.m. So,
wow.
More details. We're putting together the puzzle.
Hashtag plane plague.
Thanks, Rojo. Thanks for the beer as well. We missed you. I am very sorry about that.
I can't believe we missed them.
Yeah, so.
Well, I think this lays a good foundation for us to now discuss the maps of our maps.
Do we want to start from our preferred and then going, or do we not even want to classify them? And
I kind of had mine organized, like I got some of these bigger regional maps and then some fun novelty maps and then my key maps that I actually use on a trip.
Maps.
And then just some backup maps, which I just wanted to give a shout out to, but I don't really use.
Well, yeah, I don't think there's
I don't know what the priority is there, but...
I don't think that there's, I mean, I think it'll become obvious, but I don't think we need to be like super, like, clear on like this is the best map to use. I think with everything, obviously, if you're on episode 68 at this point, these are tips, these are our opinions, these are our subjective experiences.
Yeah.
Take what you will from them. We're not authorities on any of these ideas or figures.
As you can see, if you're watching the YouTube video, like I use a lot of different maps. Just like when I'm disc golfing, I don't always throw the Grim here for every shot.
Yeah.
Adjust to what you're trying to do in the moment.
I love the name of the subtitle of the Grim. Understandable distance driver.
Yeah, that's what it says. It says understable, Eric.
I know.
But it should be understandable. Now, every time I see that, I'm going to remember that. And it is an that actually is a better description of how the thing flies. It's a really fast disc, but very understandable. I like it. Actually, that's perfect. I'm gonna have to send Costaplast email.
Yeah. So I mean, before we go into the details, it's going to become apparent which ones we prefer.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they're the best.
No.
It just means it's the ones that we find. We will make criticisms. I think I have some problems with certain maps. Things I like about other ones, and they have different uses. Whether that's a pre-trip planning map, and in the field map, or one that you can put lines on and show where I've been.
Yeah.
There's a map for every occasion. I love all maps. There's no map that I don't like.
I mean, we've already talked about a bunch of different online maps that are a big part of my life.
Yes.
That are not part of my actual personal map quiver. But,
Map quiver.
Yeah, that's the name of this episode now, Map Quiver.
I don't know. Yeah, we haven't come up with a...
Or some sort of, like, quip on the Carmen Sandiego line.
We'll think about that.
The park is Erik Sandiego.
Erik Sandiego?
Yeah. All right, should we take a break quick before we get into
Another
the maps?
break? Sure, why not?
Do. The loot.
It could be part one. It could be a fucking three-parter.
It could be.
Lord.
It could be. Honestly, I mean... I don't know. That's kind of... I mean, seriously, we're going to probably have... I mean, I don't think we'll have an hour worth of this. Because I don't have a ton more, but I mean, I still have a lot of notes and side tangents off of some of these maps I wanted to get into.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I don't want to record for 3 hours at maps.
No, that's true.
We'll get it. We can do all this in a half hour and get this one in an hour and a half. And then if the next one's not even an hour, that's fine too.
Yeah, I don't care what the next one is, honestly. And then we'll
have our bonus
20-minute record of brainstorming.
That's fine. I gotta just pee before we get moving here.
Oh, hi.
Anyways,
what do you want? What maps do you want to start with?
I'm starting with these big ones.
How about the?
The bigger, the better. Yeah, big to small. No, I don't.
Okay. Do you want to start with this one?
Yeah, let's start with that big one, and then. I'm glad you brought that because I wanted to talk about it, but mine's all gone. Which I can say why, but.
Just play. I just press play. Yeah, I just want to listen to silence.
Do, 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 do.
All right. We're going to get into it now. It's a nitty gritty. Only an hour in, and we're finally actually talking about maps.
1 hour in, and it's time for paper maps.
Do you have it?
Paper maps. Yeah, we gotta get the loons in with the Carmen Sandiego. Wait, that was the Guts theme, actually.
I know, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for picking up on that.
I am an avid watcher of Guts.
That's why you're my friend.
I just was asking Natalie the other day because there's so much damn SpongeBob memes on the Reddit. And I was like, I actually never, it kind of missed me. Like I never
never
got to
memes
watch.
Would just die.
I don't mind them. They're fun.
But
I've never watched it. I was like, I don't want to watch all, like, there's like 30 seasons of SpongeBob, but I would like to watch some, just like as a basic. I was like, is SpongeBob on Netflix? Like, where do you go to watch SpongeBob these days? If anybody can help me out, hit me up on Instagram. I'd love to just watch like 3 episodes of SpongeBob.
Adam's using the podcast to figure out where to watch SpongeBob SquarePants.
But the real question is, the hell with SpongeBob, where can you watch old episodes of Guts?
Oh yeah, Mark O'Malley.
Or Carmen Sandiego.
What was the name of the English referee?
I don't know. There's no way. I can't believe you know the host.
Mark O'Malley.
All I know is that you gotta get to the top of the crag.
Aggro crag
and slam that button, baby. Watch out for the fog machine. So yeah, Erik Sandiego.
Her name was Mo.
Mo, thank you for the internet. Check on the fly.
Oh, it was short for Moira.
Oh yeah, Moira
Quirk.
We should have her on the show.
Whatever happened to Mo from Guts?
We should. Well, maybe not her, but we should get a show referee to keep us in line. Maybe.
Yeah. How many times would we have been whistled already on this episode? Back on topic.
Taiwan he has like a ref whistle. He was blowing it at the fantasy football draft when people were taking too long.
Yeah.
Or being out of sorts.
This could easily be, map episode could easily be like a 3-part series.
Maybe it should be. I don't know.
Maybe it should be. Yeah.
Maybe this is the second part. Who knows?
Maybe we could just do. No, this is not part 2. This is still part 1. But we could do. We could just stop and do part 2. And then do the Reddit responses as a part 3. Give them more of a chance.
I don't know. Do we want to make that call? I mean, we're in an hour. Is that really a full episode though? I feel like it was like a world building episode, which is important for a map episode, was it not?
We are the George R.R. Martins.
Do we have a third beer sponsor though in the house? If we go to a 3 format,
no,
we're gonna have to push on. Then we're gonna do it. This one's gonna be long.
Okay.
And then the next episode, part 2 of maps, will be more reasonably.
It's all gonna be responses.
Yeah, that's the most important one. We gotta get to that.
I definitely don't have enough like battery life or.
All right, no, we're gonna push on.
SD card information to record 3 episodes.
All right, Erik Sandiego.
I'm just cradling this sweet.
What do you got there in your arms?
We're starting with
this thing.
This is the godfather of maps, I think. And it is not for navigational use.
No.
But primarily for sitting in the cabin and preparing for your next trip. This is the Fisher Maps Canoe Country of the Superior Quetico area map book. Maybe the largest printed book
Yeah.
on Earth.
You can get that in town for like $16 too, or online, I'm sure.
I got it from W.A. Fisher. This is
20 now. Price has gone up.
$19.95.
Yeah, I had one.
This is the map book that has the awesome historic map in the front with the
love that map in the front. I had that in my outhouse for a good 5 years when I first moved up here. I would just sit in the outhouse looking at the original like region map with all the little hand drawings of like the rabbit hunter and buttless chaps, tumplines. A lot of the stuff we were talking about in the Grand Portage episode is illustrated here. That's worth the price of the whole book just for that one map.
It's an incredible historic artist's rendering. That's another aspect of maps we haven't talked about.
I do like the artist rendering.
Is the artist's rendering.
Not the hand-drawn map. I like to draw people maps.
Yeah.
I mean, just like, hey, what are you talking about? And I'll quick do like a sketch of the lake we were on and like kind of what I'm talking about. I feel like I've got a pretty good GPS in my mind as is. Like it's, as we've noted earlier, in the fall of my life now, my processors aren't as fast as they once were. My RAM is not sufficient.
Running Windows XP?
Or 3.1.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, I'm prime. I like 3.1, but or like OS 8.2.
Yeah.
Android 5.
So yeah, this map booklet.
Very cool.
It's not even a booklet. What's the opposite of a let? Adding things onto a word, Like a booklet implies that it's kind of small.
Yeah.
Like a book, like a maxed out book.
Huh.
It's literally like a book of maps, but they're full blown pages. And
bookish? No.
Bookish.
No. It would be like billboardish.
A book boardish?
It's book boardish.
And anyway, it's again doesn't give you the size or the.
I think they're generally the same size. They're a little smaller than like the corresponding actual Fisher map, and with a little less detail. So
less
I feel
detail and then larger area. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure you could navigate with them, but they're not waterproof paper. It's just like the paper. Like
you wouldn't want to take these on a trip. These are for a lot of people. I have done this. I know you've done this. Is you cut them out and then you like put them together up on your wall.
Oh,
this is the original of this map. You could have a bunch of these pages cut out and like pinned together up on the wall to line up right.
Yeah.
You could have a whole map wall in your little cabin.
That's it. One thing we haven't even talked about is how I used to just wallpaper like half of my room
using that basically
with
that book
Fisher maps.
Yeah, I've done that, and then like when they got kind of like after a few moves, they were kind of ratting out on me. So then I ended up using them all as like wrapping paper for. There's a good 3 years there where all my gifts were wrapped in old Fisher maps.
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah, that's cool.
That's a pretty cool wrapping paper, I gotta say. I make like envelopes for cards for people.
Yes, I remember.
Maps.
I have received a few Christmas/birthday gift items in Fisher, the paper, like waterproof.
Yeah,
style.
I used to just like have them all in a bin, and then it's like, okay, I need some wrapping paper. Like go grab like the old F30.
Yep. So that one is...
that's the big one.
I would say that one's classified as a trip planning map and like nostalgic, like next
or
to
just
the
home decor. Next to the
home and also wallpaper.
Wallpaper / you can a lot of uses for that one.
Yeah.
I got the last one I had a pretty good life out of it. I think it's mostly gone now. I probably am due to buy a new version of that. But as I said, for $20, one of the best $20 you're ever going to spend. I guess while we're on just big super area maps of the region. Of course, we've mentioned this a few times here in Studio K. We have this wonderful map that Eric gave me as a gift for a wedding last year. I guess it was for the wedding. It was like a pre-gift.
It was like a
bachelor boy gift, and he drew in all of our routes. Can we get a shout out for the company that you got this from again?
This is a guy on Etsy, DCN Maps. That's capital DCN. Lowercase maps. On Etsy, the only place I've been able to find a comprehensive and collective, those are both the same meaning words, I'm sorry, but it's the entire park on one map. It cuts off all a million acres.
Yeah, but it's got all the million acres of the BWCA for sure, and
Because Fisher has a map where it's got all of Quetico and most of the boundary waters.
Yeah.
But it cuts off the Vento unit.
That's true.
So this is the one we're looking at right now. This big, I don't know, what would you call it? Like 3x6, 3x4, 5, maybe 3x4. Like glossy.
Oh!
There goes the Tumblehome.
It's fine. Yeah, it's
logo.
It's a very big and
then I have the one in the Clearwater Outfitting Building, which is it's got sticky back, and it came in sheets, so you can just like stick it on the wall, and it's like that one's like, I don't know, that one's like 6x8. That's a massive.
That thing's really big, yeah. Really cool relief. This one does also have the relief. I like that it has all the PMAs marked.
It's got a lot of things on it that none of the other maps have.
Yeah.
Which is the PMAs and the Laurentian Divide.
Yeah.
Which is very cool once you paddle around long enough in the area where the Laurentian Divide occurs, just to see where that happens.
Yeah.
Like, I was out on that guided trip, and we were talking. I'm like, actually, because we went down to Cherokee. I'm like, we are very close to the Laurentian Divide, like, because everything's flowing north here. It's a very, like, where that occurs. I mean, it's cool to see right on a map how complex that is. It's not just like a straight line. And I think it's, very accurate. I think the only thing that the DCN map doesn't really have on it is the old fire. Like the historical fire outlines.
Sure.
So it's I think with this one on the big wall, it puts it all in perspective all at once.
Yeah, and it is sometimes hard to like, you gotta kind of squint or get up at it to like see what the names are. But like, it's just great to have this as the backdrop for the studio. It's like a quick reference point. Like no matter what, we can quick find any place in the Boundary Waters.
Yes. And
immediately travel there. And just kind of get a zoom in on that region. So for that alone, it's awesome. And I just enjoy having one big map where I've got a record of everywhere we've paddled.
Yeah. That's probably one thing we didn't mention in the beginning about like why I love and why we love maps. Is it's also like
it's a record.
It's a record. It's it's something you can draw on like from the past.
Yeah, I would say the importance.
Remember that right there?
Yes.
When we were there on that portage between Adams and Beaver?
Yes.
Do you remember, like, I remember what the sky looked like when we were here.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, I know what we had for dinner on that point.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's this memory lane kind of thing where you can travel back and, again, it's space and time. Like maps are not just like a picture of the world we live in. It's also like this vessel for your memories.
Yeah, the vessel for your memories.
Wow, and that's now definitely vessel for your memories part 1 and 2. All right, I gotta get into another Min Gold here.
I was just gonna call it maps.
Maps. Well, that would get more clicks actually, so I'd probably go with that one.
Probably. So,
But yeah, it used to be the Nat Geo was my like record because it's got all the stuff over here, but you need a couple of Nat Geos even just for the Boundary Waters. So it's wonderful to have this here at home. And if any of you have your own home outfitting room or recording studio, you're going to want to get one of these for sure. Well worth the price of admission. And yeah, just put all your trips on one map.
Yeah.
And then you can always look and like, okay, well, where's the next spot I want to try and get to?
Yeah.
Man, remember the Louse River?
Woo! I think that's an episode this
one of the wildest trips we've ever been on. We reference it often, but yeah, maybe we should do
a trip recap episode in a while.
I think that'd be fun.
So I think we should move on and next down the line in terms of like trip planning maps that starts bordering on a map you can actually use to navigate with.
Yeah, well, I've got a couple that are big maps here too.
You still have big maps.
Yeah, let's get a couple of these out of the way, and then we will get into. I've got a stack of actual maps I would use in the Boundary Waters, but these next two maps I would never take with me in the Boundary Waters.
You wouldn't bring the ringed Cook County plat book?
One of them is the 2011, I believe, or 2012. They put this one out. It's the Cook County plat book. You can get this at the courthouse, and you must bring cash.
How much is that these days?
I don't know. I think these are on sale actually because they're like going to be doing a new one finally.
Right.
They printed like 20,000 of these apparently, and so this is the most updated version they have. They're like, we're straight up not printing a new one until these are all sold.
Well, it's just dependent on the census.
Well, I'm sure
Right?
they'll do a new one with the census. But I also thought, I was told like they would just do a new one when they sold these all, and then they'd be like, we'll print, because they always have the online map, as we've already noted. If you really want to find out, like, yeah, we bought this house, you bought your place, neither of our names are on those parcels on this book because it's as of 2012. But just helpful for if you're house hunting or land hunting. It shows like these zoomed out versions. There's multiple scales in here, and they kind of show like a region, and then they'll zoom in on Devil's Track Lake, for instance, and they'll show all the 80,000 parcels of private land on Devil's Track. But they also show a lot of the boundary water stuff, and it's kind of neat to see in here, like, a lot of stuff's owned by USA. And some of it's owned by state of Minnesota. It's like funny how you'll just be in the middle of the boundary waters, and there's just one little, like, 40 that's owned by the state for some reason. Like, how do they have to...
University of Minnesota.
Yeah, how do they divvy these up? It'll be really interesting to find out more on that, I guess. But this is just a good one to find out, like where private land is, which isn't very much up here. And it's just kind of a general reference. Like, you wouldn't want this map unless you lived up here, I guess. But as somebody that now calls this fine country home, it's really an invaluable book. I keep it here in Studio K, and I often reference it. There's a couple cool things on here I wanted to get into. I know it maybe is, we're just going to get into it. So, the total area of Cook County, do you have a guess?
What?
It's in square miles. Yeah, how many square miles is Cook County, Minnesota?
2 million.
No. Square miles, it's...
Oh, I was thinking in acres.
You're in acres probably there.
Yeah, I'm in acres.
That's
square
I don't
miles?
know. I didn't convert it to acres, but...
No, that's all right. 175,000.
No, it's 3,339 square miles. But of that 1,889 square miles are water, because the actual like deeded area for this county
the lake
includes like a vast section of Lake Superior.
Okay.
And I don't know if they're actually breaking down the like lakes too, or like the inland rivers and lakes, or if that is like strictly like it's 56.5% water and 43.4% land, which
over half water. Yeah, so,
yeah, it's more than half water according to this, which is, I think, pretty fun.
Should have saved that information for the episode on Cook County.
Well, we're gonna kind of. I want to just. This is my favorite part of this map, is this information. Not so much the like. Yeah, I like it for the. You can find out where Jeffrey and Eleanor Lewis have their 127.
I have to bleep that.
I won't. Yeah, you may want to.
That's public information.
That's fine. You can go buy this at the courthouse.
Right.
But I really like this, like, just these stats. As of 2010, there was 5,176 people in the county. That's 3.6 per square mile, but I'm guessing that includes the lake acreage as well. I looked up the modern data now. We're up to 5,398. Was the latest information available as far as the population of Cook County.
6,000?
Not even. 5,300. 5,400 almost.
That's it?
5,400 people live here year round, I guess is...
It's crazy.
I mean, yeah, this time of year there's way more than that up here.
Why are there not more? Why?
Well, it's crazy. So then I got to thinking, like, okay, so just the land area of Cook County is 1,400 square miles. 1,400 square miles, that's still more than Rhode Island. Rhode Island, I have their total square mileage, which includes some ocean stuff. But then I also looked up their like just land too,
ocean
just
stuff.
to be whatever. And they don't have as much coastline as we do.
They have way more people.
Yes, we're about to get to that.
All right.
So Rhode Island, like I just looked up land versus land. Cook County, Minnesota is bigger than Rhode Island.
That's crazy.
Delaware is barely bigger. There's two states like put together, they don't equal our total area with the lake. Because they're on the ocean, they only get to go out like 10 miles, Whereas we've got like this whole sliver of Lake Superior apparently is part of our county. Yeah, so whatever. Rhode Island's a pretty comparable landmass to Cook County. There's 5,000 or whatever, 5,400 people here. Do you know how many people live in Rhode Island? It's a smaller place than Cook County, by the way.
I mean, I know Wyoming is the least populated state, and that's like 500,000. So I would say it's probably like, I mean, it's got to be at least 1 million people.
It's slightly over 1 million people.
Slightly.
Can you imagine if there's 1 million people in Cook County?
Ugh, no.
Crazy.
I mean, it feels like there is right now, but...
Yeah, like that's August in Cook County.
Yeah.
And still everybody from Rhode Island's here.
It feels like there's 1 million people in the area right now.
So that was fun. Delaware has a little bit more land, but they don't have quite 1 million. They're a little bit less.
What's the ratio then? So like you gave me the like.
Well, yeah, it's 3.6 people per square mile for Cook County. Like I haven't figured it out for Rhode Island, but obviously a lot more density there. Then I just got down this rabbit hole on square mileage, and I kept going. The Boundary Waters is 1,700 square miles. And Quetico is like 4,300, so slightly more in Quetico. Together, that's 3,500 square miles between the Boundary Waters and Quetico. That's bigger than Rhode Island and Delaware put together.
That's awesome.
Of just wilderness. It's almost the state of Connecticut. Almost. And then funny enough, like the total square mileage of the Boundary Waters in Quetico is about what they list for Cook County. Like it's almost the same. It's literally off by 100. For square miles, but again, that includes a lake out there, which is fine. That is our lake. That's why I like living up here on the world's greatest freshwater lake.
It is the world's greatest
freshwater resource as well. Let's keep it fresh, baby.
Take off the like Trout Lake unit and the Vento unit. Those numbers are like all concentrated wilderness. They're not fragmented.
No, it's crazy. Like, yeah, if anybody from like that's not been up here before is listening or just hasn't really contemplated this, that's what we're saying. Like between the Boundary Waters and the Quetico, just those two parks put together, that's a vast wilderness that you can just paddle around and camp in. That's bigger than multiple states.
Yeah,
it's huge.
Yeah, it's great.
I've always liked that about it up here.
Yeah, I love that they're together.
Yeah, that they combine. That it's literally like this. It's like if you put Rhode Island and Delaware together somehow and included their ocean stuff, still wouldn't be as big as this combined Quetico Superior Wilderness, which is intact, beautiful, and should be visited often.
And protected.
So, anyways, I spent more time on that map but like once I started thinking about it, this is also a good way to start on just the region. It gives you an idea of where we're living up here. If you're not from up here, and if you visited a few times, I'm sure you've got the idea. But yeah, the Cook County Plat Book, very fun to look at. And in a similar vein, we're not going to spend nearly as much time on this one, is the Sportsman's Connection All Outdoors Atlas. This is the big brown one. There's like a red and blue one I used to have when I lived in Wisconsin, because there was only 2 for Wisconsin. This one, there's 3 of these books for Minnesota. I have the Northeastern Minnesota one. This one goes with me in my car at all times. I pulled it out of the car just for this episode. This is just very, like, the whole northeastern section of the state. There's a lot of good stuff in here, especially for, like, the National Forest Service, campgrounds and, like, back roads.
Shows a lot of, like, what's public, what's private.
Yeah, like, I can go anywhere in this vast and very desolately populated county and never get lost if I have my big brown map with me.
Big brown map.
So this is my road map, because there's, as I think should not be any news to people, there's not cell phone coverage in most of this big county.
Right.
And so if you're actually out driving around, you definitely still want to have a paper map. I know that's probably, in this day and age, it's an outlier. Like probably most people are, just pull up your phone or ask your GPS in your car. Well, that stuff doesn't work up here in most spots, so you still need a actual paper map. There's another one out there, same kind of thing. It's a National Forest Service. It's the Superior National Forest map from the Forest Service.
Right, that's a good
You can
one.
get that at the Forest Service.
Go to any
Joshy Poo's
station.
got one. He swears by it. Buddy Adrian likes to use that map. It's just a big, kind of the same thing, like a big area map.
It's a road navigator.
Yeah, it's more for driving, but
Obviously,
it has a lot of neat info on it.
It's got a lot of neat info. It has not many. I mean, it's applicable to Boundary Waters travel in terms of
it's more of like getting here
to the point of
yeah.
going out, but it's not an on-the-water navigational tool.
Yeah.
The other one that National Geographic does make a big atlas, very much like that Outdoorsman connection, whatever that was, that has essentially the same stuff, but I find that one to be pretty inaccurate with weird names of things and stuff that just doesn't seem right.
Right on.
But that does exist as well. I think that's all of the big picture ones.
That's the main ones, and yeah, like if you want that it's like more of a county map, or it's the whole like, you know, the Forest Service one's really great. It's got some information on that one that just isn't in other maps, and it's really in a convenient size.
It's a really
the big brown book is kind of
the
big,
convenient
but it
size
fits.
is like the size of the Nat Geo Boundary Waters maps.
Yeah.
/ Chrismar Quetico maps.
Right on. I got a couple other just random maps when I was going through my pile of maps that I just want to give a quick shout out to, and then we can move on to like serious Boundary Waters mapping if that's okay.
Which I think you should finish. We'll finish on your rando maps, and then we'll start the second part.
I think that's fair because we're approaching an hour and a half here, and then
we'll get to the.
So I hope this episode had enough information in it to like make it interesting as a standalone, even though we're kind of backloading all the good Boundary Waters map stuff into the second half. But
yes,
I think a lot of this was like base, just conversation on how we approach maps and just the numbers behind them.
I mean, it could be a maps podcast. Like we
should just do more maps episodes. Like we do a whole episode about one Fisher map.
Yeah,
that would be fun.
That would be crazy.
All right, I think that's a good place to leave it. Before we end this episode and move on to part 2, we have these. If you're watching the video, these are clearly Natalie's.
Are those? Whose are those?
Natalie's.
Oh,
yes.
those are Natalie's.
She signed them. So I have 2 Superior hiking trail maps, which they have 6 of them. I have 5 and 6, which are the sections up at the end here. And so these are really good. And if you like the Boundary Waters, give the Superior hiking trail a try. It's free, and it is an amazing resource. So it's a lot of fun. We have a section that goes right near us. And these are really, really great topo on them. As you can see,
very detailed topo.
Very detailed topo. Anything you would need to. They have the elevation profile on here. I really like, and so these are fun just to have around the house. Is like if we want to take the dog for a little walk in the day, just do a small little section. There's a lot of that available. Or if you ever wanted to really through hike the whole thing, which I've not gotten to do yet. I think that would be cool too. So these are nice, pretty easy to find. They're like $2 a piece.
No, those are cool. I like the topo on them is very detailed.
Very fine.
Which is visualize the hills.
It is, yeah. So Natalie gave us permission to show her maps on the episode, and I also found this one. It's
Grand
it's the Grand Canyon map, yeah. So I just love this map. Very fun map. Like your reference to the Tahoe map earlier. Like I've been to the canyon twice, backcountry, and I could look at this map all day.
Yeah.
That is. I guess I should probably say who makes it, but
is that Nat Geo?
I don't think it's Nat Geo, but anyways, it doesn't matter. But this is a really fun map. If you just go on I think it's like the Grand Canyon Hiking Club Association or whatever makes these.
Sure.
You have to make a donation to them to get their map.
Ah.
If you're doing a Grand Canyon trip, you're gonna want to get that one. So.
Yep.
That's the rest of my random maps I wanted to make sure got on the map episode. So that will conclude part 1. We'll be back next week with part 2.
Easily have done 3.
We easily could have done 3 parts, but we're gonna keep it to 2. And next week on Tumblehome, we will be talking Nat Geos, Fishers, Mackenzie's, Chrismars,
True North Map Company,
the True North Map Company, and what we like about each of them, how we use them, our preferred maps, and just then we're going to be most importantly talking with our friends on Reddit and what they like for maps. We're going to get to your responses, and that should put a cork in it.
Tons of responses on Reddit.
Yeah, we got a flood of messages. So, yeah, obviously, we could just do a whole podcast on maps, but...
The Map Boys!
I think that's a good place to leave it for the week. So, thank you for joining us. This has been episode 068 of...
You got it!
Tumblehome, a Boundary Waters podcast. My name is Adam, and my good pal Eric here, and we're coming to you live from Studio K. We'll be coming right back in a week. but in reality, we're just gonna hit stop and then...
Oh, don't give it away. I'm gonna go and change t-shirts.
No, we're not. We're breaking the illusion. This is a marathon session. It is a marathon. I'm amped up. So
there's a bonus episode somewhere along the lines tonight.
Absolutely.
Somehow we have to make pizza.
And you still are having a pizza party, so we're gonna get to it.
Man, it's only
all right, folks. Remember, every day is precious and life is a miracle.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Something like that. Arrivederci, folks, and good evening. And happy paddling.
Happy paddling and Paisley Diera.
Paisley Diera. Arrivederci.
There you go. That's a callback for you.
All right, just save it.
I have to save
it and hit. All right, we will switch.
6, 8. Oh, 6. The next one's 6, 9.